Dre all day.
Dre Baldwin, balloverseas.com, the overseas basketball blueprint. I'm going to share with you 3 specific things for all you players out there. What you need to do to make sure you squeeze all the juice out of your professional basketball ability. Your skill, your game, your talent, your everything. 3 specific things you need to do to make sure you get the maximum return on investment for all this game and talent that you have in the basketball world. Number 1 thing you need to do is you must have professional counsel on your side, on your team. You need professional training, professional help, professional skill development, professional knowing what the hell is going on. In other words, if you're a professional basketball player or an aspiring pro basketball player and you don't have anyone around you who is at the pro level of what they do when it comes to training, when it comes to your nutrition, when it comes to taking care of your body, when it comes to conditioning your body, when it comes to your actual skill on the basketball court, you are at a disadvantage. And when you go up against players who have had that professional help, that professional assistance, they're going to beat you. They're going to outplay you. And why is that? Is because there are certain things that they've been taught, that they know, that they have internalized, that they can execute, that you know nothing about. You're not even aware of it because you haven't had the professional counsel that they have. For example, if a player plays Division I college basketball, every college basketball program, D1, there's a strength and conditioning coach, or at least there's the basketball coach and the assistant coaches who are working full time. Their job is to get your body in the right shape, teach you how to play a certain way, have you develop your skills a certain way. Their full-time job is doing that. If there's a strength and conditioning coach, you play at a mid-major or high-major D1, there's a strength and conditioning coach who teaches you how to lift, teaches you why to lift, teaches you, hey, this is what you do if you're trying to develop this skill, has you get your conditioning right. They show you how to do all these things. If you haven't played at that level and you didn't have that, then you need to go fill in that gap by finding a trainer, by finding someone who's experienced, by finding someone who knows those things that they know so that you can have the same information that the players you're going to be going up against have. I, for example, played at a Division III school. We just had a full-time coach, head coach. Actually, when I first got there, it was still a part-time job to be a basketball coach at our school. They changed it to a full-time job. Different coach came in. He didn't have any money in his budget to hire any assistant coaches. So he had assistants who were working as volunteers and they would just come and go. We had no strength and conditioning coach. We didn't have anyone who was teaching us how to do any of these things. So I didn't have the information. When I became a pro, luckily I was able to figure out enough on my own. I was able to get into the pros. But when I became a pro, here's what happened. I met someone who was a certified strength and conditioning coach. They became my trainer. Her name is Maria. You might have seen her in some of my videos for those of you who watch my stuff back in the day when I used to put out training videos. She was the certified strength and conditioning coach. She was the professional expertise that I needed on my team, on my side, to give me the information that I otherwise never would have had. The things that she taught me and showed me, I would never have figured those out on my own. I don't know what book I would have had to read. I wouldn't even know where to look to even get the information that she had. And you don't need to try to figure that out on your own because you're not a coach, you're a basketball player. So be a player, find someone who knows that information. So if you haven't played at the D1 level or had that kind of training, you need to get it, especially even on the court. If you don't have a basketball trainer and you need to learn certain skills, you don't know how to run a pick and roll, you don't know how to throw a pocket pass, you don't know how to sprint to the corner, turn, catch, and shoot all in one motion, grab a rebound and throw an outlet, and do certain post moves and footwork, you need to learn these things. If you are playing at a certain level in college or in the pros, you're being taught this stuff every single day. If you don't have that trainer or you're playing at a smaller level, you need to go find a player who has the skills that you want. Learn those skills. Let that player teach you. Let that player train you. Let that player tutor you. Ask to work out with them. Ask them how they're doing certain moves. Ask them how they do certain things. These are things you need to learn. You need to be paying attention to. These are things you need to be training yourself on consistently. You must have professional counsel on your side if you want to squeeze all the juice out of your basketball game. You are not going to get everything out of your game doing it all on your own, doing it all completely self-taught. That is not going to happen. It might have been possible back in the day. It ain't possible right now because there's way too much competition, way too many players trying to play pro for you to get away with doing that. So the first thing is you must have professional counsel on your side if you're going to squeeze all the juice out of your basketball game. Number 2 thing you got to do is you got to get yourself seen. All right, people have to notice you. People have to know that you exist, If you're played at a small school, you got to go to where you can be seen. Whether that means you putting videos out, which is cool, but that's not really going to get you seen, because anybody can put a video out and everybody does it. So that means you need to go find the people who can actually do something for you and get seen by them. Well, all this means, this is the second point, you got to invest in yourself. Investing in yourself could be the things that I've already talked about, such as hiring yourself a trainer, getting yourself a nutritionist, getting yourself on a meal plan, hiring yourself a strength and conditioning coach so that your body can be in the right shape, someone who can help you with weightlifting, someone who can help you with your on-the-court skills, getting with other players, going to where those players are at. If they're in a certain town and you need to drive an hour there and an hour back to work out with them because they're way better than you, instead of playing with the bums at the local rec center, you need to be doing that. That's an investment you need to make. Get yourself a car. If you already got a car, pay for the gas. Do what you got to do. Invest in yourself to get seen. If you coming from a small school, you want to play ball overseas, you're probably going to need to go to an exposure camp. You got to get that game footage. If you don't play well at that camp, you might need to go to another one. You might need to go to another one. Maybe you get a couple jobs, then you find yourself out of the game. You might need to go to another one. These are all investments that you need to make in yourself to get all the juice out of your game. If you're not investing in yourself, I guarantee you are not getting the maximum return on investment out of your talent. You might be getting some, you're not getting all of it if you are not investing in yourself. I don't care anything you do in life. You want to be a model, you want to be a singer, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to start your own brick and mortar business, anything that you want to do in life. If you are not investing in yourself, I guarantee you, you are not getting everything out of yourself that you could be getting out of yourself. Every professional who is serious and who gets real results and gets the most out of their talent, they all invest in themselves. The question is, are you doing it? And number 3, you got to prove it. You want to get all the juice out of your game in basketball, you must prove that you have game. You must prove it when it matters, where it matters, and in front of whom it matters. Dominating a pickup game in front of the dudes who stand on the corner in your neighborhood doesn't mean anything, because none of them can do anything for your career. None of them can pay you to play professional basketball. None of them can sign you to a contract. All right, dominating a rec league pro-am game is cool. You might get seen on IG or on TikTok or on Twitter, but is any of that going to help you get a gig and play overseas? Can you pay bills with the likes and comments and engagement from that Instagram video? Probably not. And when it comes to who matters, who are the people watching that can actually do something for you? When it matters. Are you playing in a local Rex? Or are you going to an exposure camp? You do your thing in an exposure camp and dunk on somebody, that can help you get a job. You do your thing at the local park and dunk on somebody, maybe you'll be a star in the neighborhood, but does that really matter? Do stars in the neighborhood get paid to play basketball? Probably not. So it's doing the thing when it matters. You got to get yourself seen. You got to prove it when, where, and in front of whom it matters. That's the game of life, period. Being good at something is one thing. Being good and proving it is a completely different thing. It is levels to this shit, like Meek Mill said in the song. So make sure you are getting yourself in positions where you can prove it. Meaning, go play at your school. There's a hierarchy to this game, right? First, you play in the street. Ain't really nothing to prove playing in the street, but you learn your game. You cut your teeth playing in the street. Then it's playing at the scholastic level, middle school, high school, college, and then it's playing at the pro level. All right, those are the levels where it matters. All right, you can't prove anything playing in a recreational league. All right, for the most part, people don't sign contracts from playing in recreational leagues. There are a few exceptions, at least from what we hear, the stories that we're told. Sure, we hear that there are a few exceptions. Are you going to bet on being an exception, or are you going to bet on using the information that's real and what's actually happening and following the rule? You can do whatever you want to do, but don't say you weren't given the information. So make sure you go somewhere where you can get seen that actually matters. All right, not a random rec league and hearing from people who have no power to do anything in your life telling you how great you are. It's great boost to your ego, but will get you a job. If you can't answer that question, you know what you need to do. So let me recap these 3 points. What you need to do to make sure you squeeze all the juice out of your professional basketball ability and actually get something out of your pro basketball career. Number 1, you must have professional counsel when it comes to your body, when it comes to your skills, when it comes to your nutrition, when it comes to everything else that you're doing. Get professionals around you who can help you get to the next level. Every great athlete has a coach. Michael Jordan had a coach. Kobe had a coach. They both had trainers. Every great athlete, every great entrepreneur, every great singer, Beyonce has a coach. Everybody who's great at what they do, they have coaches. Do you have one? If you don't, then how are you going to be great? Number 2, make sure you are investing in yourself. You must invest in yourself if you want to be a pro. Every business owner, every entrepreneur, every singer, every dancer, every influencer, successful influencer, every author, every whatever, name it, every athlete, they invest in themselves. How much money did they say LeBron James spends on his body every single year? Are you investing in yourself? If you're not, then you are not a professional. Every professional invests in themselves. You find one who doesn't, I guarantee you either they're lying about investing or they're lying about being a professional. And number 3, you got to get yourself seen. You got to do your thing when and where it matters, in front of people that matter, not just in front of any random people, not just at a random time that nobody knows about. Yes, you got to do the work in the dark, but you get recognized for it when you do it in the light. Make sure you are doing the work in the dark, investing in yourself with professionals, first 2 points, so you can get seen in the light. Those are things you need to do to make sure you squeeze all the juice out of your professional basketball ability. If you have not yet gotten this book, The Overseas Basketball Blueprint, I suggest you do. Why? Because it's a 237-page book that will show you everything you need to do and not do to actually start your pro basketball career, which means you're about to be playing basketball overseas when you read this book. That's why it's called The Overseas Basketball Blueprint. So if that's what you're after, then I suggest you get this book. Great thing is you don't even have to pay for this book. I'm not selling it to you. I've already paid for it. All you had to do is take care of a small shipping charge. I will ship this book to you worldwide, anywhere you live. You can get it by going to balloverseas.com. The link is right down below. Wherever you happen to be listening to or watching this, balloverseas.com. The Overseas Basketball Blueprint, 237 pages. The book's free. You cover the shipping. Work on your game. Dre all day.